Thank you. And good morning, President Mather and members of the board. I'd also like to take just a moment to express my and the executive team and the team here at CalPERS our appreciation for Ted and his many years of service to not only CalPERS, but to the state of California. During his tenure, our members have certainly benefited from Ted's careful stewardship of the money entrusted to his team to fund the retirement benefits that our members and our beneficiaries rely on. And his willingness to embrace new ideas and some very creative ideas in private equity, our asset liability management process, which we and this board go through every 4 years, and the fee transparency and the implementation of the PERS system. These approaches have placed CalPERS in a stronger position for our members and our beneficiaries. On a personal note, as Ms. Mather indicated, it's always very difficult to say goodbye to a friend and a colleague and someone who you really enjoy working with every day. He indicated our 8:30 huddles, and Ted is the one who comes in bright and chipper because he's usually done his yoga for the day, and it just gets us off to a good start that we're starting as a team looking at the issues or the items that we need to face together on any given day. Ted willingly shares his wisdom and his approach of working for the years that he has here in the state of California, and I certainly have benefited and appreciated his wisdom and advice in my first 2 years here. So Ted, on behalf of CalPERS, and I know we've said this already, we wish you and your family all the best in your East Coast adventure. Now, I'd like to recap our annual educational forum that took place just a few weeks ago in Indian Wells, and I know several of you had an opportunity to attend that event as well. We had a record attendance at over 900 employers, making this our largest event to date. The educational session rooms were filled to capacity. Appointments with our teams, those one-on-one appointments that our employers really seem to enjoy, those consultations were completely booked as well. And visits to the exhibit hall were very popular. Over the course of the 3-day forum, we held a general session each day, which gave us the opportunity to talk to all of the attendees at once about the decisions that we're making here at CalPERS to strengthen the fund. As well as helping them to understand some of our investment strategies moving into the future. One of the highlights of the forum each year is a Spotlight on Excellence award ceremony, which honors an outstanding public servant or program. This is a peer-nominated award that gives employers a chance to nominate a colleague or agency for recognition. This year's award went to Manuel Colunga. He is a field operations supervisor with the San Bernardino Valley Water Conservation District. His work has made a significant impact on the region's water customers and also on his community. I'll let the video our team produced tell his story. If we could roll the video.
I get to watch the sunrise from my office in Mentone. I get to look at the ponds in Santa Ana River. We are on the top of the Seven Oaks Dam in Highland in San Bernardino County. This is one of my many beautiful offices that I have. My name is Manuel Colunga. I work for the San Bernardino Valley Water Conservation District. I am the outdoor field supervisor. We're headed towards a Redlands Aqueduct sandbox. And then we'll go out and measure pretty much all the native water, basically Mill Creek and Santa Ana. I serve the community by making sure all of this water that we're given reaches them. I make sure that it recharges the aquifer as it's supposed to, that the majority of it goes into the aquifer as it's supposed to, and that everything is always in working order so that we can always do that. If we didn't do what we did, the majority of water would flush down to the ocean, and very little would benefit this area. City of Redlands, Yucaipa, Loma Linda, Colton, Rialto, Riverside, San Bernardino, Highland, the growers between here and there.
If someone needs to know what's going on with the complicated plumbing out there that moves water around, they call Manuel. He'll know exactly what's going on, and if he doesn't, he'll go find out and report back to them.
Is this too much?
Most people don't really know where their water comes from. They don't think about it very much. and they don't have to. That's really the value of what we bring.
So what I'm going to be doing is moving water around. I'm going to close the gate here at 10 and open the gate at 13.
We're blessed with a 5 million acre-foot storage capacity in this basin. Currently, we're about 600,000 acre-feet in overdraft. I believe because of what we're able to do and our mission, what we have been doing, has been our supply seeing us through this drought that we've been through. And Manny's a big part of that. Manny is amazing.
Hey, dude. What'd you find?
Found some stinkwort down in here, about 80 yards down.
All right, you got the bag? We're constantly on the lookout for invasive species that can and do take over our property sometimes.
Here we go. Got some stinkwort here. Getting ready to seed.
The stinkwort bloomed a lot this year. We were on it from the get-go. We got it before it flowered and went to seed. I would say it's about 90% gone from when we found it.
Pull it out. Don't spray it. Manny, it's the most awesomest boss I've ever had in my life. And yeah, I do look up to him a lot.
In addition to placing all of that water underground, he protects 5 different endangered species.
This looks like the kind of area a kangaroo rat would live. It wants some wide open places to run. There's kangaroo rats, is one of the endangered species. There's lots of people that come out here to study them. I saw what I thought was a den. And so we had just purchased these surveillance cameras, and I put one down in front of it. There was a kangaroo rat on it. Pretty cool.
The people, in my opinion, that are good public servants, they do it because of the love for what they do and their love for serving. And that's where Manny is. His whole life, in my opinion, is based on love. Either love for that 5,000 acres out there or love for the kids.
Manuel's been involved with the youth circus, like many people in Redlands, for generations. He started when his kids were young, and the central point is just a love of people, which is what makes service important to him.
Put your hands on the shoulder blades, lift. Ian and Emmy started in 2001 was their first show year. Emmy was 4, Ian was 6. I was minding my own business, just letting them be. And one day, they came over and tapped me on the shoulder and said, could I help? That's how I got involved. The youth circus started in 1928. It was started by my wife's grandfather, Roy Coble. And he used to work for Barnum and Bailey Circus. And he came over here and worked for the Y. Ready? It's an amazing thing. The circus is like a gym. I'm constantly lifting people up and over me or hanging down below me, and they're doing tricks. We're pretty good. Just like here, we're pretty good. And yes, it is a public service. And what we do, we use it to benefit everybody out here. But it's beautiful here. And I get to do it, thank goodness.
As you can see, Manny is clearly passionate about serving his community, and it was a privilege to have him in attendance and to get to meet him in person. We'll also have the chance next year to feature another public servant or agency and to engage with our employer community at next year's 20th Annual Education Forum. Mark your calendars now. It'll be held October 28th through the 30th at the Oakland Marriott City Center in the San Francisco Bay Area. Moving on now to investment committee business. On Monday, you received a performance review of the public and private equity investment programs. Both had strong fiscal year performance that even in these volatile markets, we're working to build upon. You also had a chance on Monday to continue the discussion we've been having around the private equity models. These are discussions that will continue into next month as well. And we've also been holding meetings with our stakeholders to explain the concepts to them and, most importantly, to answer their questions. One of the more important publications we produce each year is the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, or the CAFR. The CAFR provides us with a detailed summary of our financial standing and contains a host of data we use in our decision making, and we also share that with our stakeholders. Central to the report are the financial statements approved in yesterday's Finance and Administration Committee, and that come before the full board today for final approval. The CAFR is in the process of being finalized now, and we expect to release it next month. On to a bit of outreach activity, switching gears again to outreach and stakeholders. Last week I spoke to about 200 fund managers and institutional investors at the West Investors annual meeting in San Francisco. Karen Green-Ross from the State Controller's Office was in attendance and was hosting a panel as well. The event is really designed to bring together industry thought leaders and institutional investors located in the Western states. And I did have an opportunity to talk with them a bit about our efforts to strengthen the fund and our investment strategies for the future. I would say that most of the interest centered around our emerging manager and our transition manager programs, however. Tomorrow, I'll be participating on a panel about long-term value creation at the Inclusive Capitalism Conference in Washington, D.C. At the heart of the discussion is a call for public companies to adopt a framework that's been created by a group of investors, asset managers, and others from the investment industry on how do we measure and communicate shareholder value beyond quarterly financial returns. So how do we have a framework that measures human capital implications or culture of organizations? And do we see that there's an alignment of interest between the investor community and the corporate community to understand that these companies are going to continue to grow? And also, I would say that grow in relationship to the liabilities that we have at CalPERS. So I look forward to coming back and sharing with you that event at a future meeting. At the end of this month, on November 30th, I'll have the opportunity to interact with attendees at the California School Boards Association's annual education conference, and that will be the first time that I've attended that event. These are board members from school programs throughout the state, and I'll be on a panel and really introducing them again to the messages around the fund and the pension sustainability work that we've been doing here in California. Turning now to our annual fall fundraising activities. I know some of our employees brought some turkeys out to the turkey drop today, and you may have seen our employees out there wearing masks also due to air quality issues that are going on here. A couple of weeks ago, we completed our events for the Our Promise campaign. We brought the chili cook-off back. That was really important to our team here. We had made a change last year that the cook-off didn't happen, but we brought that very popular event back, and I think the team was very appreciative of that. We also did our silent auction during the lunchtime break. In addition to our fundraising efforts, all state workers were provided with the opportunity to select a charity for payroll deduction, which is one of the primary aims of the campaign statewide. I'd like to thank Wayne Davis and Rob Jerzombek for leading this year's efforts and being co-chairs of the events. They had a big team of volunteers, of course, working with them to host the events, which are always very well received by the employees here at CalPERS. It's part of what makes working here so special. As we near the holidays, we're also participating in the State Employees Food Drive, which will last into January of 2019. Employees will be able to make food and monetary donations throughout the fundraising period. And these contributions will go to support local food banks and also provide support services to help individuals and families who are experiencing difficult times. This year's donation goal that the team has set is to collect 60,000 pounds of food. And now I will close with investment performance year-to-date as of August 31st. The preliminary one-year rolling return is 8.1. The 3-year return is 8.7. The 5-year return is 8.1. The 10-year return is 6. And finally, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving for next week and safe travels, whether that's here locally within the Sacramento area or other places that you may be traveling to. Like all state agencies in California, CalPERS headquarters and all of our regional offices will be closed on Thursday, November 22nd and Friday, November 23rd in observance of the holiday. And that does conclude my remarks, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you.